99 hustles. 99 hustles.
Welcome to the 99 Hustles podcast. I'm your host, Nick Feez.
And I'm your co-host, International Feez.
And today we're joined by, I always say another exceptional hustler, but I feel like that's not.
This one's a little different.
Yeah.
This one's a little different.
This is our homeboy. Grew up with him in Harrisburg, and we watched his journey ourselves as an entrepreneur and businessman. So we figured it'd be dope to share him with our audience. So we got our homeboy Chef B of Mellie Bellies in the building. Bryan, what's going on today, man?
Hey, my guys, I can't call it, man. I finally got a second breathe after that busy catering season. It's good to really tap in with you guys, to really spend some good knowledge, man.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Bryan. Like Nick mentioned, Bryan is a friend of ours that we kind of grew up with. And in addition to being a hometown hero, Bryan is the owner and chef of Mellie Bellies, a mobile catering service that specializes in Southern soul food and barbecue food in the greater Harrisburg region. But before we get into the specifics of what you're currently doing, Bryan, why don't you take us back to the beginning and how you got into the whole catering space, or just how you got into the whole food industry?
Got you. I mean, it's definitely a testimonials like piece that I give a lot of small entrepreneurs that are coming into the game, and especially anybody who wants to know directly like how I really ventured off from the rip. I mean, I got all my culinary background from the Art Institute in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an 18-month accelerated program with people what you would normally do in 4 years of college, man. We did it in 18 months. So wow. And you got to really go. It's a dog-eat-dog world up there, man. So you really got to go in there. And if you don't know, you better really find out and get it on his books and really get after it. What right. You kind of see on TV is hyped up of like how Chopped is and how intense that is. But when you're going to get your paperwork and your degrees, associate's degree, and bachelor's and all of that in the culinary world, it's a common, it mimics that in a way. It's just so much anxiety and like it's a fast-paced environment just to understand it all. And you got to be a sponge and listen to those old school guys who know it to really understand and like grasp it. So before I even graduated, man, like 2 weeks before I graduated, I went and interviewed at the Hotel Hershey, and they hired me on the spot after I did like a cooking test and practical there. I think I got hired on June 2nd, and I graduated school like June 13th of 2013.
Wow.
So, I mean, I didn't even really have any paperwork or documentation yet, and they wanted me on that team ASAP. So,
what they have you do? They have you like do a little like presentation of something you can do?
Yeah, basically. I mean, when you come in those like most high end properties or places like that, you need to give off a cooking exam. So not only if you can interview well by talking to like how we're talking, either like, obviously with COVID, you're doing a lot of interviews online, but if you're having the opportunity to go in and sit down in the head chef's office, you got to actually interview well. And then, okay, you did well. Let's take it to another step. Can you cook? Anybody can talk a good game. But if you basically like a mystery cart and they say you got 4 hours to put all this stuff together for like 20 people, what you gonna do?
Yeah. So it's kind of like the shows like the Gordon Ramsay type of things where it's like, here are your ingredients. But do you remember what your meal was?
I did not know what it was, but it's more like, I mean, they know like if I'm going in as a general cook, don't give me any type of like oysters or anything exotic like game meat or lamb or something like that. I was going in as a general cook, so they want to know if you know your way around a whole chicken, how you know what your cuts or your knife cuts are looking like, and how you can get down to real small things and appetizers.
So B, you went to culinary school, like, so at that time, were you thinking about like, was the end goal to be a business owner and to be an entrepreneur at that time? Or were you just thinking about being like a chef at a restaurant? Or like, at what point did you start, thinking about being like an entrepreneur?
I knew it was a far-fetched thing to kind of like coming straight out of school or not even graduated yet to think about, I want to have my own business like right as soon as I get my degree. Like I knew that's not realistic. You know what I'm saying? I knew I had more experience to gain in that world, like real world setting. Like I knew they gave it to us as much as they could in school like, yo, this is what it's going to be when you get out there. But like, you got to really, we're not going to pass you unless you can really understand how it's really going to be in these kitchens with a lot of different personalities. It's like one big, huge melting pot. So it's like that, man. It's
and that's real big. I just want to that's a point for our audience to really take. It's like, we're not, a lot of times we talk about, like, people talk about like just jumping right out there into being a business owner, or even sometimes like missing school to be a business owner. But like what B just said is like that real practical experience sometimes is necessary before you can make that next step. So that's a very, very important message to drive home right there.
I definitely all in all, I mean, and especially after graduating, and you run into a lot of people in my field, culinary field, back in the day, they had just nothing but apprenticeship programs. Okay. So going away to school was like if you really had money to do that, that's okay. But like, if you had interest in the kitchen, like, you just go ahead, get out of high school and go sign up to go into like the Hilton or the Holiday Inn, get underneath those guys and work your way up the ladder of hierarchy.
Interesting.
And if you had the personality to get it done, you'll be an exec before you know it. But now it's harder to get those type of stripes. So coming in with paperwork, it gives you a leg up on somebody who just came out of high school, who's just doing it just for show. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
To me, it's just paperwork. I mean, you got to have the personality to kind of like climb that ladder as fast as what they're talking about back in the day now. But I definitely think I could have, you know what I mean, skipped school and learned underneath somebody, saved that extra couple dollars I just spent, and got it done. But school and college is for the experience that I think everybody should go through. Obviously, if you can do it at a smaller scale, pace, financial for financial reasons, then do that.
Right.
But in my field, there's other ways to get that those stripes, bro. There's definitely other ways.
Okay, so you started off, before you finished school, you got a job, which for anybody that went to college, that's incredible, because most of us don't find a job until after we graduate. You know what I mean? But you had that lined up. So at that point, were you already thinking ahead, like, okay, I need to put X amount of hours in, or I need to make X amount of money to be able to venture out into my own thing? Or was it still just like, look, I'm just going to go down this path because this is my passion, and I'll figure out the rest as we go?
Definitely that plan B, bro. I was definitely going through the motions, and that's especially because I was still living with, I came back home, was living with mom and dad. And the Hotel Hershey on the back, when you around there, like, damn, he made it Hotel Hershey, circular dining room. And I get to stay at my mom and dad's house. Yeah, we about to get this couple dollars and later. You know,
for those that aren't local, Hotel Hershey is like the premier hotel you could get in like the 30-mile radius from where we're from. So like this is a big deal. So it's not just like a candy shop, Hershey chocolate shop restaurant. This is a real thing here.
It's 5-star. They had Michelin. They have all that stuff in there, man. So I did everything that you could. I accelerated at all positions there at the property. It being a historical property, it's unionized. So that being said, I didn't know that when I first got on, but like, I was the only youngest guy there that learned the entire property in all positions within a year after being hired. And I wanted more than that. So it being unionized, there's a waiting line to get a promotion.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's people who's been working there for like 20 years, and I wanted to go for a sous chef position. I couldn't touch that because I got to go through the right ranks to get there.
Ranks.
Stand in line, and I wasn't with it, man. So I jumped ship and found a couple other spots that got me groomed up to become a sous chef. Devon Seafood and Steak, the Hershey Lodge, and then I got my stripes that way.
And you said to become a sous, what type of chef was that?
Sous chef.
And what's that?
It goes to executive chef. Executive sous chef is his assistant, and then the sous chefs run the different restaurants. Basically, assistant kitchen managers or sous chefs.
Gotcha.
And then sous chefs run all the actual cooks on the line that prepare the food. Sous chefs don't really do anything besides put people in the right spots.
So would you say that was like your first bit of like getting like leadership experience and like learning how to manage a team and like, direct people and stuff?
My guy that was a sous chef at the hotel, he became an executive chef at Devon Seafood and Steak and called me right away. Like he knew exactly what it was. Yo, B, I got this position here and I need the help. I need your help whipping these guys into shape, man. Like, this is a beautiful opportunity. And I was like, yo, okay, what kind of money we talking? Because I remember out of school, y'all becoming, when you get that chef on your title or that jacket, like it's hours you got to put that work in. And I just got engaged to Christiana. And it was more or less like, okay, if I'm about to put all these hours in, man, I gotta make sure that she's
gotta be worth it.
Yeah. And that's the first foremost. Like, it doesn't really matter if you're gonna be going through that at the house too. So
yeah.
I definitely put that. I signed on there, man. I did a tasting and blew everybody back out the water for that. Signed on the Devon seafood and steak there, and like I had a management ability that I didn't know I had naturally. Like, it was fun to me to be under pressure. Like we were talking. I never acquired a taste or feeling of like, okay, 4 o'clock hits and there's already 400 reservations. I never had that happen to me before, and I was like, yo, I'm with it. Like, even if I'm not going to be with it, yo, I got the best team possible on that line. We about to just go get it. And they never seen a guy with me with that type of energy come through on a Friday and Saturday night and hold it down. It was fun.
Now we know you personally, so we know the energy you're talking about, right? We know what kind of that big dad charisma that comes along with it. But now, where did that come from? Is that something that you've always had, growing up? Is that like something you kind of took from family? Like, where did that kind of that work ethic come from?
I think so, man. I think the work ethic came from my pops, man. Like, me and him were exactly the same. Like, even to this day, even if something's bothering us or something that whatever, like, we just put our heads down and go to work. Even if I'm stressed out, bro, you're gonna get the best type of like sauces from scratch, recipes from scratch, the best brisket from scratch. If I'm stressed out, bro, I'm gonna give it to you. Right, you know what I'm saying?
That's good. It's good to know. We got to stress them out before we put our order in.
And I mean, look, and Nick, in our grade coming up, I just found out recently with that, like, last 6 months that, yo, they put me on game. Like, bro, do you know why we even called you Big Dad? Like, I said, I really don't know. I just thought it was something.
Yo, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
It was off the football field, like, yo, put the hammer down on these guys' claws, but like, it's more or less like how I took ownership of my friends. I was always acting like a dad to them.
Yo, that is like breaking bird news right there. Breaking Hannah news. I never knew why we called you Big Dad.
I never knew either.
Your nickname was Big Dad. I didn't know.
I thought maybe he had like a big pair of jeans. You know what I mean? Like, back in the day, we used to wear big jeans. Like, it was extra baggy. You could wear 2 basketball shorts under it. Like, so I just figured it was something like, man, he got big pants, I guess. I don't know why they call him Big Dad.
To Gabe, I guarantee you that's what he would probably have said. But at the same time, like, they all know, like, yo, I took care of all my guys as if I was their dad. Like, I always took charge. Like, this is what we gonna do. This is how we gonna do it. Whether we gonna go have fun, go to a party, or we about to go into this game where the heads held high. Like, I always came through as a father figure to just my friends. We the same age. Yeah. I was ahead of my time, bro. Like, I'm more or less. I always hung with my older uncles and old heads around the neighborhood. Like, I listen to Barry White making barbecue sauce. That's what it is.
There's 2 things that I think are real important about what you just said, and it kind of relates to someone we just talked to, actually, Nick, about surrounding yourself with older people that have experience in whatever it is that you're trying to do. Like those mentors, like you said, you had a relationship with somebody at your first job and they called you when they got their job because they're like, I can rely on this guy. I know what kind of energy he brings. So that's very important that, like, regardless of whatever your hustle is, you got to have the ability to, like, build relationships with people. People have to know you're reliable. People have to know that, you bring a certain level of professionalism. So that's incredible that the reason why we call you Big Dad is essentially the reason why you are the successful person you are today, which is real crazy.
And I just found that out like less than 6 months ago, bro. I said, what? I mean, I guess, but yeah.
It makes sense.
Shout out to the guys.
So Bryan, let's get into like, Mellie Bellies a little bit.
Okay.
And
that started
the catering business. So at what point did you decide, hey, I'm gonna start my own, I'm not gonna work for a company anymore. I'm gonna start my own business.
All right. So we're gonna backtrack to year 2015, 16, 17. I mean, a little bit more of a sentimental and, you know, near and dear subject to me. It was emotional before, but now I just use it as nothing besides strength and empowerment when I give this sort of testimony out to anybody. Mellie Bellies is definitely, and everybody can go online and read about it too. It's coined after our daughter who passed away, Bryan Sanders.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, man, to my baby girl, man. That's where all those butterflies, that purple and stuff comes from, man. That's all her. Mellie Belly was her name that they gave her while she was in the hospital. When little babies, they are on so much medication or they get that type of treatment, they have like a small little pudge and belly that they acquire. So they just shortened her name up and just called her Mellie Belly. So that kind of stuck with me after it was all said and done. But while I was at Devon, after me and Christiana got married, we had Melanie in 2016 or 15, going into 16. And she acquired this illness, man, and just got sick. And she was tired and she just, you know, it was time to go. And the way that touched my heart and my soul, that intense feeling whenever it's like it happened yesterday. I'll never forget it. But we just kind of got it. Transformed it, man. So I mean, we kind of really needed to get away and get out of Harrisburg, and we moved down to North Carolina, man. And we just use that as like a sabbatical to kind of get ourselves back together.
Interesting.
And trying and just transform that energy that that we just couldn't bear just to be around our friends and family anymore. Transform that and come back. It's just like
powerful.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I transformed it and got myself together, and I found some older guys that were down there. I was doing the barbecue thing, and I was still working in the kitchens and stuff, and like just took everything that I kind of knew that my grandmother, my mother passed on to me that I like to do and like to do for fun, and got introduced in the authentic way how to like really smoke and do barbecue down in North Carolina, and just two together. You know what I'm saying? So taking all of that stuff from the Hotel Hershey, from Devon Seafood and Steak, all my stuff from Philly, and just taking it behind or below the Bible Belt and get lost in the woods and just put it into a pot, bro, and just wow. And I created Mellie Bellies down in 2017 in the state of North Carolina, and we moved back here 17, 18, and I got 100% legal with the business as far as catering goes, and 18 here with Mellie Bellies, man. So like it was a no-brainer to bring a barbecue business.
That's an incredible stuff.
Back home.
That's an incredible.
There's a lot of competition down there.
Of course,
and I know I could keep up with them, but at the same time, you think about it, and I remember the exact conversation me and Christiana had. It's like, yeah, why don't I just? I mean, I'm okay to go back home. We're both okay to go back home. Why don't we just take this whole like vibe and bring it back upstate to Pennsylvania? Like they're not smoking no whole hogs on cinder blocks up here. They're not flipping brisket the way I turn it on cherrywood and hickory all day. They're not doing that. They're not doing that. So it was a no-brainer, man. And once the city got a wind of that,
it was a wrap.
It just took off.
Yeah. That's so crazy how, like, you know, every person we talk to, there's usually some like turning point or some inflection point where like something happens, whether it's a tragic moment or just something that just, you know, hits them one day. It's like, I can't keep doing what I'm doing, whatever that is. So to hear like you taking that like tremendous tragedy, unplugging from everybody, getting away from everybody, not seeing the same familiar faces, kind of just getting yourself together. You know what I mean? Like, and then to come back with something that's just like,
boom,
you keep, you know what I mean? Like it's incredible. It's like the most important aspect of being like an entrepreneur is like your passion, your why. Like, why are you doing it? You know what I mean?
Right.
So like to hear that is just like, that's great. That's incredible.
And that touches base on kind of like what keeps me going, man. Like when I think about how long and hard she fought, even when you look at her, she look at you in her eyes and all that. Like I know it took her for a while to like, you know, say that I was tired, but like when I get tired and my battery pack runs out, bro, think about that exact moment every single time. Every single time. She's my natural Red Bull, and I tell everybody that. My natural Red Bull. That's what keeps me going. That's how I'm able to smoke and do as much of like manual labor with the business as much as possible by myself, and like grow those extra like 5 arms that you don't see. Is because of her. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
It's kind of crazy when they ask you how you get it all done.
Right. Because that calendar is booked and busy.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, man.
bro.
So B, there's one other thing about one other aspect of the story I did want to focus in on. You mentioned something about getting legal with the business and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, so you studied culinary, you studied like how to be a chef and how to cook well, but the business part of it and like being the entrepreneur, like right now in the background, you got advertisements and marketing supplies, and you have a website, like the business part of that. Like, can you talk a little bit about that adjustment, about like learning how to, I don't know, balance a budget and market?
Right.
How'd you learn those things?
It's definitely that's one of the little snippet they'll probably go through in school. Especially, I only went to get my associate's degree, but that's kind of where the hustle comes in. Where if you want to learn all of that other stuff behind of your actual skill and craft, okay, now you might even want to go to get your bachelor's degree. Which I was like, nah, I think I can go ahead and get this on a whim somewhere else. But like it was a lot of things that a lot of business owners in our class, Fanil and Nick, like we got a lot of people who have their own businesses that know how to do their thing. So networking and not even if you don't even want to talk to anybody, see what they got going on and using the material that they already have out on a public platform, kind of can educate yourself and the hone in and see how they get that thing done. But it was just a lot of endless hours of just researching to first figure out what's going to get me to the point of like being a successful small Black business and being I really wanted to cover my own ass and get my credentials as far as being legal with the state, LLCs, getting your business insurance, a business license for catering in the state. All of that stuff is just starting point. But like as far as marketing and branding yourself, you just got to kind of demographically look about what's really going on in your area and just how can you be different and be better. Not just see and kind of be like a cookie cutter and just do what the next person's doing, because we're so small in Harrisburg anyway. It's easy to do that, but I don't want to do that. So so if somebody has a website that's like user friendly and it's okay and it's not that hard to kind of navigate through, okay, how can I be different and kind of market it differently to really pop out and stand out and be just accessible to the public. And I just got on those different platforms and forums and figure all that stuff out. And Square's been my best friend. It's easy, user friendly, man. All my inventory, self-ordering that now you can do on the website there. There's an app that I'm working on for the food truck that I got coming now. All of that stuff is a one-stop shop.
Yeah, I was wondering if you're going to get into like the mobile app.
Yeah, shout out to my guy Tommy who made the logo. He made that from scratch, man. So he did that one way when I was down in North Carolina. When I was driving like by off by Wake Forest somewhere, and I was like, yo, I need a logo that's gonna scream Melanie but still like be fun at the same time. And my man, he drafted me up in like 48 hours. This is
dope, man.
Yeah,
that's a classic logo right there.
It is classic, man. So I got that. I got that everywhere. I got hats, shirts, t-shirts, hoodies.
What would you say? So now be booked. You got constant business, a regular business. What would you say to yourself back then in 2018? Like you're on your way to your first event or something. You don't really got to figure it out. What would this Bryan say to be back then?
Don't forget the basics, man. I think that once there's a lot of people who make it up and further out. There's a fine line of getting becoming too commercial or commercialized. Remaining to your basics and your core values is most important, because of like, I think that if you hone away from that, like right now, I mean the most I would say I would stray away. You might not think it's that like bad, but I know that me and my mom started out doing those big weddings and catering events. It was just me and her, like 200 people, bro. And we was getting it in and doing it, and everything was looking just as beautiful as it does now. But now I got so groomed to understand that I'm well known now where I need more people to help me get these events done. So like now I'm paying extra to have people to come support me at these events. But at the same time, that's going to come with a cost too. So incorporating the fact that like when you want those luxurious or like not to be able to sweat as much as you did 3 years ago, you want to pay the cost to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I would say just remain to the basics, man. Don't flourish out too much and try to press yourself out to make it look lovely and lavish if you don't have to.
Stick to the script. Stick to the
Yeah,
script. Stick to the script.
And with that, what was that transition like? Was that a difficult thing for you to do, to bring people in and start, essentially this food is your baby in a sense. You're the head cook, so it's got to look a certain way. It's got to give a certain aesthetic to it. What was that? Was that difficult to kind of ease off and let people kind of, you know what I mean? Like do their thing, or do you still have a little bit of that, like, you forgot this? Like,
that's all the time. That's all the time, baby. That's all the time. I mean, I still have not, to be honest with you, like I still did all of that, the stuff that you see online and from all those weddings and stuff, bro, from A to Z. I'm ordering it, receiving it, prepping it, smoking it, cooking it, whatever you need to, and getting to the wedding. I'm just having people come there and help me serve it and put it together. Like we putting in them shot glasses and them shooters. Those are my guys who just helping me assemble when I need to grow 20 extra arms. Those to actually get it out.
Those are your arms.
Those are my arms. But I'm not there yet to where I need to have somebody come in and help me prep this stuff up, because I got to go to a meeting and all of that. Like, it's just being consistent means a lot to me right now more than anything. Again, like you just said, it's my baby. Literally, it's my baby. So everything has to make sense every single time. And I got to be able to trust somebody to really do it every single time. And with that trust, you got to hire the right people to do it, man.
Right.
And with that, you got to have that money to come with that too. You can't think you're going to pay somebody $10 or $12 an hour to think they're going to come in here and do it the same way.
Absolutely not.
Regardless if they're tired or not.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to have the funds to back all of that up.
What was the moment to when you realized, okay, I might have something here? Like, so you went from like your very first client to where, you're just trying to find business. When was there a moment, or you still kind of like, like a deer in headlights and it's going so fast? Or was there ever a moment you were like, yo, this is a real business. Like, I'm doing my thing.
I would say when I was first still doing part-time work and still trying to balance doing some like light duty catering things on the weekends, when you get to those catering events and like, you made enough for what they ordered, but they like blowing through like things that they would happen on a wedding that normally wouldn't happen. People come up and try to ask you got thirds and fourths and fifths. You like, yo.
I'm like, I can.
I mean,
but it's gonna cost you.
I'm giving you business cards. Look, this is what I have, but I'm sorry, like, you already killed me on your third round coming up, and that's unusual at a wedding for people to come up, and even weddings that I've been to, like you one time and you ready to go to the bar.
Now you shouldn't be up here coming up for third and fourths.
But when that happens, and they like praising you, and they come back up with the empty plate, like they sopped it up. That's when you, like, to me. That lets me know that I'm doing something. The product is right. The product got to sell itself, bro. The product has to sell itself. You, at the end of the day, your first year of being an entrepreneur, your product should be selling itself, and you're not working as hard. Like that product is supposed to be making money for you at nighttime while you're asleep, and you're not trying to make that product at nighttime while you should be sleeping. It should be in that order. If you're still chasing it after a year, and you're still trying to make that money while you should be sleeping, like there's things that need to be reevaluated.
Hustle gyms. That's a hustle gym right there, man.
It definitely is.
It has to go that route, bro. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot out of your confidence and your morale to really understand, is it a hobby or a business? Even my accountant, even asked me that from day one. You really indirectly asked me that, is this a hobby or a business? Like, well, damn, I came to you because it's a business, but like, something right. Like, if my money's not coming through on paper as if what it's not. Like, damn, right? And even this past year, this year with my business plan, like I released my 6-year business plan, a brand new one with a COVID protocol intact for 2021. I released it in March. By July, I doubled what I was supposed to make for the year.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So, incredible.
Yeah.
So you got to reevaluate that plan, huh?
Yeah. The plan needs to go back to the drawing board. Like, what's really going on?
So with that, like, you currently, I mean, like you mentioned, like you kind of figured it out after a certain amount of events where people keep coming back, like wanting more. You're like, all right, I can maybe do this. So then you transition to what? To just going full time with the catering? at this point?
Nah, man, that and I tell everybody all the time who wants to be their own boss and entrepreneur, that little hump and hill that you got to get over is no joke. Of like that crutch of having an actual job working for somebody, and that paycheck is going to be a steady like stream of income, versus then you're the one that's going to dictate how much money is going to be coming in because you gotta hustle. So I was on that crutch for a while, man, of like, yo, just like maybe working 2 days a week under at FedEx, or I put in some part-time work revamping East Pennsboro High School too.
What you gotta do.
Yeah, like just because I was afraid. I got babies, I got a wife, I got a mortgage. So you're being afraid of like, wow, how much money can I really generate on my own? And at the end of the day, bro, there's nothing to it but to do it. Like you got to just go. And especially if you know the city's on your back, like they own you, and what type of hustler you are, you ain't going mentally as a person and a human, you're not gonna let that happen or bad things happen to you.
B, what would you say was like your coolest client? Like to where like somebody reached out to you, like, wow, like I can't believe they know who I am, they know about Mellie Bellies.
Right.
Oh yeah. I would say Governor Wolf's administration. I've had the Capitol probably about like 6 times this year already.
Wow. That's
but
crazy.
he remembered I was frying fish on them steps that February before COVID hit, and that was last time I was but I mean I've been there recently before, but that was last time I seen him outside. So like they remember, they know what Mellie Bellies is about.
And for those who don't know, Governor Wolf, we're from Harrisburg, PA, Pennsylvania. Governor Wolf is the governor of Pennsylvania, and we're from the capital. So what B's saying is like, he making sure that, at the headquarters of the state, like he's the point person on
the head honcho in the state of Pennsylvania was fed by Mellie Bellies.
Yeah, there you go.
Disclaimer.
They just reached out to me 2 days ago to bring the truck some more food down there, man, for next week. So I mean, I know when you get stuff like that, like people know that the best way to somebody's mind, heart, and soul is through their stomach, bro. And the entire line of industry I'm in, you know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter how you doing it or how, like, if you have a particular product in my line of work, like how you get it across the table, it doesn't really matter as long as if it's good. It has to be good, and it has to be consistent. Consistency is always going to be key, man. It's going to be key, whatever. Whether you're talking about books, with the money you're bringing in, the flow of how you bringing that money in, from how you market your business, and the product that you use has to remain consistent. It has to. Like when you say, when I expand and I got to clone myself like 2 or 3 times, I know people are going to have to come to the bar, my storefront, my takeout window, my food trucks, and my end goal, which is my bar and grill. They want to know what they got 5 years ago. Like how much of that Gouda Mac has changed, or how much of that brisket with the blackberry barbecue.
Right.
Like I wanted to remain saying, you guys are coming back to me 5 years ago from 5 years because you remembered something 5 years ago. So remaining consistent. It has that has to stay that way.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing, is building trust between you and your audience, and especially like in our city, right? To where a lot of people know each other, you know what I mean? So word of mouth travels pretty far.
Right.
So Bryan, you talked a little bit about like what's next. And you mentioned the app and the food truck and also expansion. Can you talk a little bit more about your thoughts on that and like how you're managing growth right now?
Got you, man. I mean, the growth of the business is real right now. If anybody who knows anything about catering or hospitality industry, like when it comes to my world, where we already in the slow months now, where November, December, January, February, a little bit of March is like the dead season. So that is the best time if you're going to rebrand yourself, if you're going to invest in new property or new equipment or food trucks or stuff like what I'm trying to do. That's the time to do it. So by when spring hits and everybody's back outside, you're ready to go. Go. Like you all the way outside too. So, but I kind of did that a different way. I've taken a different approach. I rather go ahead and get this food truck that I'm building out on the road and test it out with all the community and the platform and audience that I already have through the wintertime, because I know people are going to come outside. especially
that's so smart. You have your own test group already, and you know they've already experienced the good quality stuff. So if anything changes, they'll let you know.
Right. Exactly. So doing it right now and then being already ready, and then I'll be even more ready when springtime hits. That's going to be the bigger plus. Like right now, my wedding season starts at the end of April or mid-April, so I don't have too much time I could probably devote to that during the food truck during wedding season. So I'd rather get it in and you know, exercise it and help get the brand across to the community what they've been like thriving for and dying for now before I can do it in the summertime. But that is going to be my main thing, man. Like right now 2022 is like right around like 75% booked. I'm like 35% booked for 23.
Wow.
Probably right around New Year's Eve I'll probably open up 24 to see what else is going to happen. But I just want to if I take it to the point where I'm going to multiply my business plan again before the year's out, we got to look into another food truck. I'd rather say 100% mobile before and make 300% of my money back before I open up a brick and mortar. It's a no-brainer. Like we seen what COVID did to a lot of these places and spots.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I was just thinking that. I'm like, for someone like yourself, does a brick and mortar even make sense at this point?
Right now. It didn't even before. Like my first step was always a food truck. It was always a food truck. Even before the pandemic came, it was always a food truck. And everybody who got food from me before and pre-COVID, those foil pack containers that I do are already individualized and COVID proof. Like when the old heads that are around town, they had no idea what to do with to-go containers, bro. I've been made the lane.
That's real though. But like, what was the COVID like? What was that like for business too? Was it like, did you have to like shut everything down for like a month or two, or
they were calling?
They were calling.
They seen the pictures online of like, yo, where can I get this 5-star meal that you're putting into this foil container at half the price, and for my staff on lunchtime, and it's delivered. Everything's individualized. You got serving utensils already plastic wrapped. Like, bro, I was already in stock with all my stuff of like what I would do for a public event outside, where I already put everything in. Like it was a no-brainer that they see it all online on the website. Like they seen it.
Wow.
They seen it. And it was like, yo, this is what we eat for lunch. And once they taste it, they're like, yo.
Like, oh yeah. And listen, I can speak from firsthand experience. Like Bryan has something here, man. It's and it's beyond just like a local thing. It's like you could take this on the road.
And I even thought about it, bro. Like I did some research. I looked at maybe I need to go on like a little chitlin circuit or something, yo.
That'd be crazy.
Really just go a little tour.
Bust it down, get like 20 racks and come back.
Yeah.
It's not the worst idea.
Yeah,
we might have to talk about that. We have to talk about that offline. Put a 99 Hustle Bus logo on the thing and just take the show on the road. We'll do some interviews and we'll do a little pop-up shop on the side of it.
That would be dope. Yeah. But I mean that's where I'm at now, man. I know I had to have a particular product that I got obviously remains consistent. And that I know if I go anywhere that like what makes me different from everybody else is the way I do everything. Like you're taking an elegant style of Southern barbecue, you're twisting it up and you're putting it in and remains the same inside of a foil pack at an affordable price. I don't know. I have a lot of confidence in my business, man.
Hey, if I could cook mac and cheese like that, I would have a lot of confidence in my business too, man. I tell you.
The mac is real, man. That Gouda mac is it sells itself.
So Bryan, one question that we always ask our guests on the 99 Hustles podcast is, what is your hustler mantra? Now, your hustler mantra is like a quote or a phrase or something that you kind of like live your life by. So if you had to give a hustle mantra, or you live your life by or run your business by, so if you had to give one, what would that be?
I just run my business, man, with blood, sweat, and tears, man. I think that's honing in and never forgetting what means most to you is something that's always going to naturally make you remain consistent without you even thinking about it or thinking twice about it. You know what I mean? Like everybody, those purple orchids that you see in every single box and everything that I do is a reflection not only of my business and how consistent I am, but my baby girl, that's her color. You know what I'm saying? So every time you pop that black box or foil container that you have and it's an orchid there, yeah, it's me, and it's definitely Mellie Bellies, but it also is a reminder of every single thing that I touch that I throw an orchid on is the reason why I'm doing it. So I mean, Nick, I'm a piggyback on what you said before too. Sticking to the script is what it's at. That's what our hashtag for the rest of the year should be, or
stick to the script.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's nothing besides consistency.
No, I mean, Bryan, we mentioned before, like, we all have a relationship outside of this, but it's incredible to witness everything you've done and continue to do, man. It's really an inspiration to myself, Nick, and everybody else that know you. I want to make sure you get your flowers. You know what I mean? Before it's too late and we can't get you on the show. We want to make sure we get you while you're still available. But in general. It's been incredible to hear your story, and we learned a lot of new things about you that we didn't even know. That's incredible. Now we know why they call you Big Dad. So
they called him Big Dad for over 10 years, and I never knew why.
I never knew why. But that's just something, being from the Berg and the Hannah, that just happens. You get a nickname and you just run with it. Nobody knows why. We would just stick to the script.
It's just what we call them.
That's what we call them. But Bryan, if for those that would like to find out more about you and potentially even kind of, find a way to, have you cater for them, where can they find you on social media or your website and things like that?
Yeah, man. If anybody needs to contact me directly with any type of holiday sales, I have a Thanksgiving menu with party pans right now up for grabs until November 14th for Thanksgiving Eve pickup. It's at melliebellies.com. /services, pop-up, or just home and about, man. But just melliebellies.com, navigate through the site, read about the business. There is some links on there for social media. Instagram is melliebellies522. Facebook is Mellie Bellies. And my personal one is Chef B717, man. So anybody has any type of questions about personal parties, VIP parties, or anything that's in like in-house intimate dinners, I'd also do as well. Just contact me directly through the website or the messenger through Instagram as well too. Perfect.
Well, Bryan, like we mentioned, this was an incredible conversation. And beyond that, that's a wrap for this week's episode. Thanks for listening to the 99 Hustle podcast. Be sure to visit 99hustles.com to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover our amazing bonus content. Please rate, review, and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Always remember, there are 99 hustles. All you got to do is choose one.
99 hustles.